The Iowa Hawkeyes head to Market Square Arena, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Gamble. Yes!
Iowa is going to Phoenix.
Iowa's the Big Ten champion. Iowa wins the Big Ten tournament.
It's good! It is good!
Wieskamp, his shot at the bar.
It goes in!
Luka Garza, 33 now. Remember, he had 44 at Chrysler.
Bohannon, way outside, launches the shot. Makes it home! Big time onions!
And a dunk by Keegan. And he dunked Gillis right to the floor with him. And the Hawkeyes are Big Ten champions. An old-fashioned stare down.
Sanford! Who got it? This has really happened!
Stirtz is running three.
Impose your will, the servant mentality, but we'll always play defense.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bench Mob Carver. And today we're going to have a fun one. There's been a lot happening in the Iowa Hawkeyes men's basketball space, including, there has been not one, but two scrimmages, two secret scrimmages that have been planned that I knew nothing about.
That would be the secret part, Aaron.
Well, how come I know about it now? That's the weird thing.
It's like the Michael Jordan, the secret scrimmage that they did with the Olympic basketball team, and they got beat by all the college kids.
Yeah. Are we the dream team, though?
I don't know. That comp falls apart pretty quick. Let's move on.
Yeah, so there's two secret scrimmages, and they replaced that with the exhibition that we usually have at Carver to begin the season. And the first one was yesterday. I wanted to make a pod about that earlier, but by the time I knew about it, it was too late. First one was yesterday. We played St. Louis, and we lost to St. Louis by 25 points, which not ideal. But does a secret scrimmage loss really mean anything in October?
I don't think it does. I'm not too concerned. I mean, even when asked about the starters, Ben McCollum really said he didn't have any starters in mind for those scrimmages, and so it doesn't seem like I don't think he's the type of coach to take something not seriously. I don't want to say that, but clearly this isn't the same way that a regular season game would be handled. So I have no concerns over it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, when asked about it, he was like, hey, these aren't our starters, as you just alluded to. The scrimmages, these secret scrimmages, really their main point is like, hey, we have a couple plays we want to work on. We have a couple sets we want to work on, a couple defensive looks, stuff like that. And it's not really about the points. Like with these secret scrimmages, you're able to just kind of like stop the game and say, hey, here's how we ran this. Here's how we can switch it up against this defense, and they can kind of get more defensive looks. It really has nothing to do with wins, losses. It's just kind of getting your stuff in a better space. And a lot of it's just more, I don't know what the word is for, getting the young guys in and getting some reps as well.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So we have one more secret scrimmage against Texas Tech. That one would be taking place of the exhibition match that we would usually have. So no video on that, no video on this, but Texas Tech, a very, very solid squad. And that should be good for our guys to go and get some reps against them.
It's good to get the hard stuff. It's good to have good competition already. I mean, really, let's get exposed to as much good basketball as we can before the season starts.
Absolutely. Now that we've gotten that kind of talked about, I know it's a big topic of conversation between Iowa fans already freaking out about, hey, if we can't even beat St. Louis, how are we going to compete in the Big Ten, and kind of nitpicking the team already, which obviously you still want to win. That's not something that I'm just going to like not acknowledge, but again, this is more developmental more than anything. And another thing I did see on Twitter, not that, I'm not even going to say it because that's a troll, and I'm not going to give trolls any thought. It was an Iowa State one, so.
Oh, they're not people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Iowa State, in quotes, people.
All right, let's not take it too far.
Yeah, one of us is joking. So now let's get on to the main thing, which was Iowa participated in Big Ten Media Days. I believe it was, I think, Thursday the women were there, and Friday the men were there. And so we're going to just focus on kind of what the men's media days looks like. Another podcast can cover the women's team. They're very exciting, but this is focused on the men's team. So we're going to talk about maybe the other coaches for just a split second first. Starting with the Darren DeVries, the other guy who was the maybe hire at Iowa. He decided to go be a traitor and go to Indiana instead of coaching for his hometown team. But my takeaway from that is just like he was fine. He think he said the right things. There wasn't anything too flashy about him. Just, aura's not there.
I mean, can you really match the Ben McCollum aura? There's no comparison.
Yeah, that's why you pick him before the last pick in your fantasy draft, because aura.
That is true. If you haven't listened to that episode, encourage everybody to hop back to episode number 3. And you can witness me draft the perfect team, and 2 other guys draft some other teams as well.
Yeah, that's perfect team is a lot of guards.
Hey man, it's small ball. It's 2025. Ironic that I would not identify as a guard. I can't say I was ever built like a guard.
Yeah, I feel like our teams were kind of just made the opposite of like I've drafted like probably 5 or 6 4s. And I am far from a 4. So that was interesting. Anyways, the other coach that I'm going to highlight here for a second is the main rival in the Big Ten, Nebraska's coach, Fred Hoiberg, who also had a stop at Iowa State. So he is just the ultimate op here. And he didn't really have much to say. I don't really listen to him too much. But he did mention Price Sanford once, former Hawkeye, and just said, like, hey, he can shoot. And all I got to say is, Price Sanford, you're a traitor.
Yeah, just gave Iowa fans another reason to hate Fred Hoiberg, if we didn't already have a very long list.
Some Iowa State fans might even not Fred Hoiberg, so maybe that's something we can agree on.
That's true, and maybe some Bulls fans, because that did not go well either.
Yeah. So the Eastern or the Illinois people who went to Iowa universities, the Iowa State fans, the Iowa fans, even maybe some Nebraska fans, given how the stint is gone. Not a big fan of Fred Hoiberg, and not a big fan of Price Sanford. How could you, after what your brother did with the Hawks?
I do dislike. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Hoiberg, but to be fair, he's not the Nebraska coach that I dislike the least. I think that is reserved for former Nebraska coach Scott Frost.
You didn't like Scott Frost?
You did, Aaron? No,
dude.
No.
Scott Frost handed us so many wins.
Well, that is true. We got a lot of freebies out of him, and now he hates the program, so it's kind of ironic. And maybe
so, how can he hate Scott Frost? He doesn't even like Nebraska.
Well, in a perfect world, nobody would like Nebraska.
That's fair. Let's get to the on-air interviews from Big Ten Media Day. So starting with the main guy, Ben McCollum. I think some really good quotes I saw. First one is, if you create a sense of a rival for yourself, it is not going to work out well. You love humility from the coach. I don't know if Fran would be saying these same things, but yeah, I know there's a big deal with, like, especially I'm probably the forefront of it, of just like, hey, Ben McCollum has arrived, he's here, and look out Big Ten, look out NCAA, but he's more of a, I'm just here to do my job, and we're not here to uplift ourselves.
Yeah, it is a nice change of pace. I like Fran. I don't think he deserves all the hate that I've been seeing recently. I've had to hop off the Hawkeye Twitter here and there. Just it's too much. He doesn't deserve the hate, but I do love the change of pace with Ben McCollum. He seems like a lot less distraction and a lot more fundamentals.
Absolutely, and I'll double down on the anti-Fran hate. Look, you're not going to find someone more defensive minded than myself, and you're not going to find someone more offensive minded than Fran McCaffrey. But winning goes above every stylistic thing that you have, and Fran did that a lot better than his predecessor, and he took the program from garbage to respectable, And if we weren't respectable, could we get Ben McCollum? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he brought us out of the dark ages of Iowa basketball, and he deserves some level of credit for that.
Absolutely. Another quote I'd like to highlight with Ben McCollum is just, my defensive mind hears this and my ears perk up instantly. You have naturally as a coach, if your mind is always on defense, your team will know how to defend, which is really good to hear because, we take a look at this roster, we take a look at who he's brought in, and it's not a lot of defensive guys. It's just guys who are known for either playmaking, scoring, maybe even rebounding. And if you have that plus a coach who teaches defense, and if he thinks naturally this team will think a little more defensively, that's something to be excited for.
I like the I can fix her mentality from Ben McCollum.
Yeah, and given his track record, you can't really deny it until he proves that he can't fix them.
That's true. I hope and I think it'll play out well. I agree with your sentiment. I'm probably, hopefully not too optimistic. I'm very optimistic, but let's hope that optimism is proven right.
Absolutely. If he can turn this roster, and Stirtz has showed he can play defense. There's been some other guy like Cale Combs who's shown that they can play defense. Even Fulgaris, he's shown that he can be a shot blocker. I don't know much about like a physical defending 4 or 5, but there's tools there, and I think his mindset is, hey, as long as they have the tools, defense is like 80% effort. So at worst, you're going to get a guy who's like a B- defender.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of hustle, and I think if those guys don't have hustle or they didn't have hustle when they came into the program, they're gonna learn it here in the next couple months.
Yeah, it's either hustle or be benched. All right, the third and final quote I want to take from the on-air part of Ben McCollum's interview is he said, "I can recruit players that I can coach hard," and I know that the interviewers were kind of getting on him a little bit about like, hey, you coach your guys hard. I don't know if you can do that in today's basketball. And he goes, well, if I couldn't coach them hard, I wouldn't recruit them at all. So that was really encouraging to hear.
Yeah, I do wonder, it's harder and harder to find coachable guys, especially with all the NIL money floating around. It seems like the egos of college D1 athletes, they've just skyrocketed over the last 5-10 years. And so I that's a good mentality. I think, yeah, I did joke, a few minutes ago about I can fix them, but he at least makes sure that they're coachable before he comes in with that attitude. I appreciate that because the last thing we need is some divas on the court.
Yeah, no, the prima donna is something that is pretty popular nowadays. So especially, I say this as a hooper. I think hoopers are typically more prone to it than other sports. But that's good that Ben's kind of creating that culture there.
I don't know, Aaron. We do watch a fair amount of the NFL, but yes, in college sports, I would agree with you. I think that college hoopers can get a little bit of a head on them before the other sports. Otherwise, the CTE sets in the NFL, and then eventually they get there. But
yeah, definitely worst post-retirement for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you're Dwayne Wade. Anyways, so we have the Bennett Stirtz and Cam Manyawu interview from the Big Ten Network. And I just want to start off with correcting something that the Big Ten put out. They said Cam Manyawu was a guard. He's not a guard. He's actually our center, which is far from that. So just wanted to point out that Cam Manyawu, our 6'9" center, is not our guard.
Maybe the NCAA knows something that we don't.
It's McCollum about to Bennett go to the wing. Cam Manyawu's going to bring the ball up for us.
Hey, let him cook.
Just the main thing that kind of Bennett Stirtz was saying out here was, we love being underrated. He kind of touched on like, hey, I was the D2 guy until the ball stops bouncing. I'm going to be a D2 guy. And no one thought I could do it at D1, and now no one thinks I can do it in the Big Ten. Well, keep saying that because I'm going to keep proving you wrong, which you love that mentality from your leader.
Yep. Very humble and puts a little chip on their shoulder, which hopefully can just provide a little bit of extra motivation, especially through the grinded out season that this is gonna probably end up being.
Yeah, I can't wait for Bennett Stirtz start slapping the ground and start barking at Big Ten guards. It's gonna be exciting to see for sure. Another thing that he brought up was actually so Bennett Stirtz, congratulations to him. He got engaged over the summer, and he actually told the media that before he proposed, Ben McCollum was actually there, kind of gave him a pep talk. So you talk about just a coach who'll coach you through life, not just through basketball. That's Ben McCollum.
Yeah, I'm sure he felt like he could run through a brick wall before he proposed. So Ben McCollum, he can get you fired up.
So you didn't see the video? He ran through a brick wall right before he popped the question.
Well, I'm all for theatrics, so good for him. That's the way to do it. Hopefully she wasn't too frightened.
I gotta say, I did not talk to one of my basketball coaches prior to popping the question to my now wife.
But
would that be something you even think of?
I can't say it was in the cards for me. I think it was more in the cards for you, Aaron. If I recall, you were wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey, so it doesn't seem too far-fetched from...
Yeah, I was also wearing jeans, so I was a little bit more dressed up than usual. But yeah, no, with my history with coaches, it was probably just best not to.
Yeah, there was you had a pool to select from.
Yeah, we had if I was going to talk to one, it would be the close family member that was a coach of mine. That'd be the only one I'd maybe even think about talking to prior to that.
And assumably he would give you advice as a family member and not as a basketball coach.
Correct. I love him. I love him better as a family member, which is probably best anyways.
I do not think you should love your basketball coach more than your family. Agreed.
That is true. Yeah, there was him. There was another one who's like a distant relative. Probably wouldn't talk to him before a proposal either. And one who was just not related to me at all. And with him, I don't want to put that on the pod. Anyways, we talk about both Cam and Bennett talked about Trey Thompson, actually, out of all the role players, about how he is going to surprise a lot of people. Obviously, Trey Thompson, the 17-year-old kid who skipped his senior year of high school to be on this team. 4-star, we got him over Purdue and we got him over Tennessee. And now they say he's going to be surprising a lot of people.
I can't wait. Surprise me.
What I saw was his, I think he played 8 games in the spring for his AAU team. And he came up with 33 dunks in those 8 games.
Oh my goodness. Sounds like an absolute unit.
I think he's like a 6'7" wing. So that's going to be exciting.
Well, hopefully, I mean, do what you want to do, man, but hopefully Ben McCollum didn't give him a pep talk before proposing to his girlfriend, because that'd be pretty young.
Hey, when you know, you know.
That's true. Hey, young love, it's a beautiful thing. You do you, Trey Thompson. You find the one. Lock her down. But not better than you're locking people down on the court. Let's get this defense going.
Yeah. Defense more important. I mean, he's been in Iowa City for what, a month or two now. So hey,
plenty of time.
I've seen people when I went in my days in Iowa. I've seen people probably get proposed sooner.
I mean, shout out to the college ministry we both went to. They knew how to turn out a marriage in 3 months, man. They got after it.
Yeah, I remember one of my leaders there. We were talking about how like he can praise God through his singleness because he was about to turn 30. And like I didn't see him for like 2 months after that. That was the last discussion we had. We come back and I go, "Hey, like how's that like praising God through singleness going?" He goes, "Oh, I'm married."
That's wild. Incredible.
I'm sorry, what?
He's like, "Yep, I quit doing that a little while ago. I started praising God through marriage because I'm married."
Shout out to him. And he's been a great, as far as I can tell from the outside, he's been a great husband. He's a new dad. He's been a great dad. So shout out to him. It's a beautiful thing. But here's the thing. Here's my take. I think that God has not called every single person to marriage, and I've definitely seen people that I was around in college who maybe weren't called to marriage but kind of forced it.
I actually agree with that take. I don't think that take is as unpopular as you think, Aaron. Maybe it is. Maybe with our listeners. Call us right now. Get on our hotline. We don't have a hotline.
Yeah,
but
I'm not giving out my number.
Aaron's phone number is, listen
Hey,
closely.
Start with a 319.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So let's
before I get in trouble here.
Let's get to Ben McCollum's longer interview with the Iowa Hawkeye media, and I guess anyone who wanted to interview him. So the main thing that the media wanted to know was just the intensity in practice, and the intent behind it. Like even Cooper Koch, he kind of said the main difference between, because he's one of the two carryovers from Fran's roster, and he kind of said the difference between like this summer and last summer is there's a lot more puking and a lot more running. So that's it's good to see the guys getting into championship.
More puking. That's always good.
Say maybe McCollum's got him running those stations that we ran in high school.
Oh, I don't miss that. I don't think I ever lost any vomit over those, but I certainly felt it. Maybe, I don't know. I was a waterlogger, so I mean there was times where I definitely felt it, but I think I was always able to hold on.
Yeah, I guess the thing about that is it's not all linemen, but it's always a lineman who's puking.
Yeah, and I think I guarantee if I was in Ben McCollum's practices, I would be vomiting every day. I can't say I've maintained, first off, in my prime, I'm still not half as in shape as all of these guys. So currently now, the dad bod it's not ready to go.
Oh man, well, you're going to bring a lot of strength and intensity and dad strength to rec league basketball next month, so I'm pretty excited for that.
That is true. I went to a arcade yesterday with our youth group as volunteering, helping with that, and did the punching bag machine where you have the number that pops up. And yeah, I pulled my own weight. I wasn't there. There was one of our youth group students. He got after it, so I couldn't quite match that. But I'll take second place. I'll take it above, the other 6-7 guys that were
6'7"
competing, and I'll take my moral victory. I still got it.
Yeah, Ben touched on a little bit on being a first-year Big Ten coach, and he's not taking much from like what other coaches have been doing, obviously because those are like different situations. Obviously, the Iowa job I still think it's a little underrated of like what you can get once you get to Iowa, but we're talking like when it's Iowa, the funding you get as a staff is still in the bottom half of the Big Ten. So I think even though I think a successful season is a Sweet 16, I think you really have to give someone 3 or 4 years before you can really start. Unless it's like a dumpster fire, you got to give them like 3 or 4 years to kind of build their program.
Yeah, I agree. This isn't the NBA where you have 2 years to succeed or you're fired. It does take longer to develop, and I think part of that is just the nature of college basketball. I am curious to see with all the NIL and transfer portal and all that, if expectations like that are going to change just across college basketball altogether. I don't think they should. But I am just curious. It does seem like it's becoming more and more like pro ball every year. And so, unfortunately, that leads to a shorting of attention spans. And it seems so many programs are like, oh, we just got this guy. We need to win now. And I don't think that's realistic. Big Ten or throughout all of.
I agree. I think the reason it might be a little less when it comes to the like, we need to win now mentality is just because of the transfer portal. And you can bring some guys with you. Like it's not all freshmen that you're having to bring in. But at the same time, you're not getting anyone else's roster. Because we take a look at like Dr. Tom. He had an incredible roster from the prior coach who was just really good at recruiting. And that's how we got to the Elite Eight. He was never a really good recruiter. So I guess there's ins and outs of both. And even in the NBA, I still think you got to give a guy 3 years at least. It's just you take a look at like who's that Raptors coach?
Oh, Coach Casey.
Yeah, Coach Casey won Coach of the Year and got fired. Yeah, he was unemployed when he got the trophy.
Yeah, that portrait of him holding the trophy with a not so happy face is iconic.
You run into prime LeBron, that's tough. I don't think he can fault any coach for that.
Yeah, I don't think he's to blame there. I don't really know how you expect someone to defeat LeBron. I love Kyle Lowry and DeRozan. They're not LeBron James.
Yeah, and then there's a whole thing with holy moly, I can't even think of names right now. Oh, Nick Nurse, UNI legend.
Yeah, you and I goat.
So
Go Cats.
Nick Nurse takes over the next year and wins a championship, and then everyone wants to go, "Oh, is he Coach K?" It was Coach Casey. He was the problem. Look, I love Nick Nurse, and he deserved that championship, but Nick Nurse also did not have to go through LeBron. LeBron went to the West and got injured, and hey, he also got Kawhi Leonard. That's the difference between those 2 years.
Yeah, and I do wonder how many tree come to get Kawhi there.
Well, the Clippers be clipping.
There you go. Yeah,
And,
unfortunate. Justice for Coach Casey.
yeah. I know his stints. Is he on the Pistons now?
I honestly know nothing of him since he left Toronto, and yeah,
Oh,
it's
no,
just very unfortunate.
He got fired from the Pistons. As a
Oof.
coach, I think he's still in the front office.
How did he get fired from the Pistons?
I think the Raptors broke his spirit. That'll happen. Clippers be clipping and they do sketchy things. I know of another group of people who clip and do sketchy things. But also Ben McCollum wanted to talk about we're talking about Alvaro Fulgaris. And funny quote from him. Ben McCollum actually described him as the weirdest guy on the team, but in a good way. And he also talked about how Alvaro Fulgaris, that's going to be a hard thing to say over the season. He didn't have a really good performance at Eurobasket. But his role from Robert Morris to Spain back to the Hawkeyes has been kind of a odd thing, and I will trust Ben McCollum over the Spanish national team's head coach. But yeah, elite connector is what Ben McCollum calls him, and says he can play make on the offensive end, and he's a good defender. So that's really good to hear.
We love defense, especially Aaron.
That's true. We love defense. If we could win a game 1-0, that'd be my favorite game.
I would turn the TV off within minutes. That would be awful.
I guess that just proves my claim that I am in fact a basketball sicko.
You are a sicko. I'm just kidding.
So we were talking about Trey Thompson earlier. Ben McCollum talked about him again, talking about how he loves his offensive skills, loves his finishing, his quick adjustment to university life, because he was going to be a high school senior, and kind of just sees him as the future of Hawkeye basketball after this season. True facts.
Spitting facts.
Yeah, so Ben McCollum kind of touched on the again, culture. He's a big culture guy. Call him the college Eric Spoelstra. So his main thing when we talk about recruiting, he doesn't even look at like the top 100. He spoke on that. He doesn't even look at the top 100 lists or anything. He'll just take a look at these kids and he'll say, hey, are they good people? Do they have high character? Can they be coachable? And are they positive? And he kind of recruited them that way, and we're in October, and he still sees them as just really good kids first. And yeah, I think the chemistry is coming along just fine. He says the culture is looking great so far.
So hopefully no more bar fights from Iowa basketball.
Yeah, do you think Ben McCollum, if given the chance, would have recruited said person who did start a bar fight in Iowa City?
I like to think he was just unfortunate. I think he was heading to the gas station heading to Quick Trip, depending where our listeners live. But maybe he was just trying to get some chalky milk and a slice of za, and he just happened to be caught in the wrong place. I don't know the details. I just know he got in a fight.
Hey, if I'm within like 10 feet of a cyclone, I wouldn't punch him, but I'm gonna say that I would think about it. So
Well,
can you blame a guy that much?
that's good restraint.
Well, I also don't think he started it. So, cyclones be cyclone. They'll punch basketball players, they'll punch band members, they'll punch just about everyone. Just they're kind of human. So next we take a look at Ben McCollum was talking about Cooper Koch. And the one main, like we said earlier, the one main guy to go from McCaffrey to McCollum. And said he's been adjusting really well to the new system. And he highlighted again as Cooper Koch brought up the puking. He goes, "Hey, he's kind of getting used to the physicality and the workload, the running, the lifting here," and says that whenever they scrimmage, that he sees them as a positive and when they're better players. So that's really good to hear.
Good for him. That's like you're at work and a new boss comes in and changes up everything, and you just kind of keep your head down and keep working and make adjustments when needed. So hopefully we see some great things.
Yeah, and if Cooper Koch doesn't end up in the NBA and gets a regular daytime job like the rest of us, then you can be confident in him that he's going to do good in his work and that management won't really matter to him, and he'll just know how to work. Good worker is one of the top things here.
And if he ends up having too much free time, then
absolutely, I'm sure we will.
There's a chance. Cooper, if you're listening, Aaron's phone number is, listen closely.
How about no? So we Coach McCollum kind of touched on Bennett Stirtz, and he thinks that Bennett will thrive in the NBA just because of the spacing and everything, and how his mind kind of goes above everything when it comes to playing the game of basketball. And you know what? I believe him. I'm going to take a look at the mock drafts right now, but Jesse, what are your thoughts on Bennett Stirtz NBA's prospects?
I think he'll adjust well. I agree with that. I don't think if we're going back to that draft, I think you just alluded to that. You took him far too. Oh, if you're talking NBA draft, I have no predictions. But when you took him in your draft, I'm referencing our episode 3. You took him pretty high.
I would do it again. We were talking about someone who's on a couple preseason All-American lists, on most Big Ten All-American lists. And as I look on the NBA mock draft, they have him going 13th overall to the Miami Heat.
I would be more than as a Heat fan, I'd be very happy with that. I hope these teams start calling you up, Aaron. He'll probably go first after you sell them on what kind of player Bennett is. But yeah, I think he'll adjust well. I think he has the potential for a long and prosperous NBA career. I could see him excelling.
Yeah, going 13 as a senior would be kind of crazy. Everyone above him is either freshmen or sophomores. So that'd be it's so weird to see like on NBA draft boards where they're like, he's a little old, and they're talking about like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that does not make me feel good about myself.
Yeah, but I'm sure if Eric Spoelstra got his paws on Bennett Stirtz next year, I think he would have some fun with that.
Well, I would like to say the last time the Heat drafted someone 13th overall was in 2019, and that was Tyler Harrow. So I think, if that's the path he follows, he could turn into something special.
I am just seeing right now him, Harrow and Stirtz together is going to be the biggest edit of 2026 with the background of pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah. It's we've seen a couple of those. It's it's like Cooper DeJean, the Amazing Whites. It's it as a white baller, they've got more work cut out for them. Just because it's a little more grinded out. I will say that. Good for them, but they're probably not the quickest on the court. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I got a lot of notes here. I'm going to skip a lot of them just so we don't go on for 2 hours. But what I wanted to highlight was Coach McCollum did learn a little bit from Coach Ferentz already, saying he admires Coach Ferentz, and honestly, I think they kind of run their program similarly. Like you start with like, do we have good kids here, and now we're going to make them into football players. They're very competitive. Defense will always be there. You can guarantee one thing, it's defense from Iowa. And just learning, just do the dang thing every single day.
Yeah, I think really what that's alluding to is McCollum just wants to have job security until he's 70 years old. So I think that's part of his respect for Ferentz.
Hey, if he can get us to 13 tournaments in a row, it'll be hard to argue that. That's for sure. But speaking of football, how about that 37-0 win over Wisconsin yesterday?
A thing of beauty. I think we needed that. Hawkeye fans everywhere we needed a good old fashioned butt kicking, and we're always happy to have Wisconsin be our punching bag.
Yeah, it hasn't happened a lot, so it's I'm shocked I have not seen that Luke Fickell has been fired yet. I saw James Franklin got fired today though.
Oh, really? That's breaking news on my front.
Yeah,
he got about that.
He got fired from Penn State, and who does Penn State play next? Us.
We'll take it. Maybe we can pull out a win through all the chaos.
That'd be nice, because if we went out from here, we're talking playoff. Oregon might have different ideas, though.
That will be the tough one. I know off air we've spoken about that game, and yeah, I have very low expectations for the Hawks in that one.
I'll be attending that one, so I'm hoping that one goes decently.
You're bold.
Yeah, I saw they lost to Indiana yesterday, though, and Indiana only beat us by a single possession, so who knows?
There's always a chance. I mean, they play the game for a reason.
Haven't beaten a ranked team in 11 games. We're due. We are due.
That is true. We are. It certainly feels like we're due.
Oh, man. Yeah, the last thing I'll touch on with McCollum's extended interview was his views on the 5-for-5 eligibility. My battery is running low. Maybe I should have kept it plugged in this entire time. He says that he thinks the 5-for-5 eligibility rule makes sense, especially with the new classes. And yeah, redshirting would be easier. And if anyone needs a fifth year, that'd be great. He thinks 6, 7, 8 years. Now that's a little silly, but 5-for-5 I think would be decent.
Wait, would you say that attending college for that many years, Aaron, would be silly?
Well, if you have a COVID year thrown in, I think 6 years makes sense.
Okay. I certainly wasn't addressing someone's college career.
Especially if like someone, we're talking sports, but if someone just like has a rough time with the whole COVID classes thing, like you got to give them, you give them a year of redshirting and you give them a year of just like, hey, COVID kind of stinks. Let's give them a little grace there. And then you add the 4 years of regular and that seems to be fine. But, these kids nowadays, they don't have the COVID years anymore. I think we're done with that now.
We better be. That will never return. No more COVID. No more anything.
I did hear they are making it so if you did like played for a different, like not the NCAA, but for like a JUCO or an NAIA, you reset once you get to the NCAA.
Whoa.
So
is
kids
that
could
part
do
of the
6 years.
Is that the 5-and-5 eligibility rule, or is that a different thing?
I think it's a different thing, but oh gosh. Now that you think about it, they're different things.
Okay.
But you could do 2 years JUCO, 4 years NAIA, and then the 5-for-5 eligibility. You could play 11 years of college basketball if you want.
Well, I know we were talking about being old in the NBA draft. If one of those guys somehow made it to the NBA, that would be quite the investment to put into a 30-year-old.
Typically if you're just good enough, you don't really have to go to JUCO. There are times where like your grades are terrible and you do have to go to JUCO for 2 years and then you do 2 or 3 years in the NCAA. But typically if you're good enough, you're going to be good enough to be just go to the draft at the most at like age 24.
I mean, maybe you're looking at a late bloomer though. just think back to watching The Last Dance. Speaking of COVID, watching The Last Dance, and how tall did Scottie Pippen? I think he grew significantly in his first year of college. So it could just be one of those circumstances where, oh my goodness, now I'm a 7-footer out of nowhere. Not that Scottie was, but yeah, you could have a late bloomer. I think it's possible.
I just still that he was like what 19 or 20 when he grew. Like you could go to JUCO at age 18 and 19, and then you go to the NCAA at like 20 and 21, and then they're like, hey, I could either return for a third or fourth year of college, or I'm going to get a crap ton of money in the NBA. Well, I guess with NIL, things get a little more complicated there.
Say, you can get a crap ton of money lots of places these days.
I mean, like we just talked about, a 20-year-old goes in the draft and they go, oh, I don't know, he's a little old. If you have a 30-year-old going into the draft, at best, he's gonna UDFA.
If it's not probable, but it is possible, just pointing light to it. There's a chance. Absolutely. I just want to say there's a chance for us. That's really what I'm getting at here.
Or we think through rec league, there's going to be scouts there, and they're going to be like, hey, I think this. Hey, we have 4 years of eligibility in college left.
I don't know if that's in the cards for us. It is, again, it is possible. It's not probable.
Yeah, I could have 2 remaining years, but shout out to Coach PB. So now we get to Bennett Stirtz and Cam Manyawu and their extended interview, and they didn't have as much to say, so there's not as many points to get to, but we'll touch on some things. They actually did talk some X's and O's, some ball. For the offense first, we'll end with the better defense. So there's a lot of like pick and pop players. So you think of like one sec, I'm getting an ad on Zoom for some reason. When you think of like
PP players, that's what I like.
Yeah. So we have some good PP players. You think of Alvaro Folgaris. What?
What's funny?
Tourette's.
Just talking about PP players. I don't really understand the laughing.
Yeah, we got plenty of pick and pop players. And mixing that with the fact that Coach McCollum has enjoyed to have a lot of shooters out there is good to see, except for Cam Manyawu and except for Tavian Banks, not to be confused with the Iowa running back. But yeah, I think outside those two.
I thought Cam was our guard.
Oh, sorry. Point guard Cam Manyawu cannot shoot. There you go.
Well, that's unfortunate for a point guard. They should probably fix that.
But our center, Bennett Stirtz, he can shoot the thing.
Would that be some incredible mismanaging of player talents?
Yeah, I do not think Coach Mack will be doing that. But got plenty of shooters this year outside of like 2 of them. But that should be good to go. Hopefully, I don't put them in the lineup at the same time. That'd be my ideal. I don't think you can put 2. I'm not gonna say non-shooters, non-threats from the perimeter out on the court at the same time, and I don't think you can put 2 defense liabilities on the court at the same time.
Yeah, I'd agree. You would the interior would clog up pretty quick if guys aren't going to have to close out. And hopefully, with this team, we won't have too many defensive liabilities at all. Is the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we know pretty well from old man basketball that you need probably 3 or 4 shooters on the floor at the same time. Otherwise, it's just chaos down low. So I do feel pretty good knowing that old man basketball people at least have to account for me, so that the posts on my teams are not like just in a traffic jam the second they touch the ball.
Well, I'll work on my jump shot before we have our league here in a few weeks. But
hey, you've shown you can hit a couple shots from deep.
Sometimes you just got to take a ridiculous one, and when it goes in, it kind of scares everybody, even me a little bit.
I mean, at least these guys have to have the confidence at least to shoot it, because if you're not even a threat to shoot it, like we had someone who I played basketball with at a certain level where everyone's like, hey, he's a great 3-point shooter. And I go, I understand he's a great 3-point shooter. It'd be best if he was a 3-point maker. But the shots raining down at least tell everyone like, hey, he's probably going to shoot that. And there's like a 25-30% chance it is going in. So we have to account for that. But yeah, that kind of helps out your guys inside, especially with like Manyawu and Banks.
Yeah, I don't think McCollum's gonna. He seems like the type of coach that's gonna push everybody to maximize their utilizing their skill set. So I don't think we're gonna see hesitation on guys taking shots that hopefully ones they should be taking. But I think especially early on in the season we're gonna find out pretty quickly who should be taking those shots, and if they should be, I think Coach McCollum's gonna make sure they are, or they're gonna be riding the pine.
Absolutely. Coach Mack do be skill maxing. Now we get to the defensive focus. So they want to be better and tougher on the inside, and have a little bit of interior defense with the guards. But yeah, I can see that. They didn't really get a true center. They got big guys who can play down low. That's just not where they would love to be. Outside of like Manyawu, you have Trevin Urach, who we stole from you and I. But those are really the two. Those are really the two only centers on the team. And Urach, he's going to be a good player, but as a freshman, it's going to be a little tough for him in the Big Ten. So I think if everyone else can kind of make up for that and just kind of stand their ground down low, that would be great. I'd talk as someone who's not the greatest interior defender, but I think that's why they spent so much time in the weight room, is just to kind of get these guys in Big Ten shape and make sure that our centers are not the only ones protecting the paint.
Yeah, unfortunately, Luka Garza was born 6 years too early, so we missed out on having a good center.
Yeah, I mean, Luka Garza, the GOAT of Iowa basketball, interior defender is not something his strength was.
Fair enough, but we don't know. He was playing for Fran. We don't know.
Yeah, that just kind of makes the my first round pick look a little bit better now, doesn't it? The fact that no one could play defense under Fran except for one person.
I think if you were given the opportunity, Aaron, you would have done the exact same thing that I did. I don't think you're passing up on Luka Garza.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have Luka Garza first, and then Mitchell took Keegan, and then the door was wide open. And I was like, okay, there's so many guys here that are just kind of at the same level. So I'm going to take the guy at that level who also plays defense and is the only Big Ten all-defensive first-team member from the Hawkeyes under Fran McCaffery. And so, yeah, defense is huge, and unfortunately our guys are not. So hopefully the guards can kind of step up and help down there.
I think we'll see a lot of chippy basketball. I think, yeah, we don't obviously, like you alluded to, we don't have a true center necessarily, but I think it's going to be a lot of hustle plays, and that's going to make up for it. I think these guys have shown they have a lot of heart. Obviously, they're being coached by someone who emphasizes having heart and hustle, and so I think it's going to work out. I hope it's going to work out.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking Sweet 16 season incoming. So they touched on the preseason rankings and how to stay humble. Obviously, there's been a lot of rankings for the Big Ten, and we've seen Iowa at like 4th in the Big Ten. We've seen Iowa like 9th, and we've seen Iowa like 16. Why is that? Because we've never seen these players play together, and we've never seen Iowa under this coaching staff. So I guess when you see yourself at 4, it is kind of a like, hey, that's not a guarantee. We're the ones putting in the work. Let's not get too caught up on that. And when you see yourself at like 16, then you can kind of take it as like, okay, they're disrespecting us. Let's go out that chip on our shoulder and show them that, hey, we're one of the better teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think it's good to use that for motivation. And then, like you also alluded to, you can't let it inflate you. You just got to take that stuff almost with a grain of salt. Again, if you can turn that into some sort of motivation, then absolutely use that. But if things start going well and you start getting a big head and you start letting that define you, it's going to crash and burn.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should take that bulletin board material, and since they've been ranked at like 16 in the Big Ten by some media members, I think they just got to do like 16 push-ups after every single practice, to kind of do what Wisconsin did after last year. Iowa dropped 42 on them. They did 42 push-ups after every single practice. And now they only have to do 37 next year.
I will say there is something a lot less impressive about 16. But I mean, it's good to keep
Better
that
than
stuff
0 push-ups.
That's true. Well, I just think everybody on this roster is capable of doing 16 push-ups pretty easily.
Yeah, but I feel like 16 push-ups along with your usual workout does help a little bit at least.
That's true. That's what Aaron's been doing every night before he goes to bed, and he's going to come shredded when it comes to our league.
Gosh, that's the thing that's been so infuriating is that I've been lifting harder than I have probably since playing football, and I see like nothing show up from it.
Yeah, I was fortunately blessed. I think I could see the gains easy, but unfortunately the other gains come too. And so my concerns are much more cardio based. And so Aaron's trim and trying to put on the muscle, and I think I'm okay in the muscle department. I mean, obviously there's always room for improvement on that front, but my concerns go to I'm going to be pretty gassed unless I figure this thing out in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, luckily that's something I have been blessed in is the fact that I don't really tire out that easily. I mean, there's times where like I don't run for like 2 weeks and then I'll show up and I'm like, gosh, I'll play old man basketball for like 10 minutes and I'm just done. But if I'm consistently running, for sure, if I'm running for like a month where like I go to the gym 5 days a week and I run every single day for about a month, I show up to old man basketball and I really don't even get tired after like an hour of like full sprints.
I'm sucking air, but maybe I'll have to do your workout regime, and start running here every day. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll send you the schedule I got on my. But anyways, they wanted, now back to the main thing with Bennett Stirtz and Cam Manyawu. They pointed out the impact of Coach Ogden on their physical development, and the fact that both players gained, I think they both said they gained about 20 pounds over the summer of muscle.
Wow.
And so I'm pretty confident they will be in Big Ten shape.
Glad they clarified of muscle. We just
Eating
kept
muffins.
kept putting donuts in the break room.
Coach Ogden, their strength coach, and Ben McCollum have both been very outspoken about like, hey, if we're gonna win a Big Ten championship and do good in April, or maybe March and April, then we're going to have to be in championship shape, and they have taken that to heart. And I'm not going to be dogging on Fran McCaffrey every single episode, but it's just something we haven't seen in the past 20, 25 years of an Iowa team going into the weight room and making sure that they are physically ready for the season.
Yeah, it's a long season, so you really want to make sure your guys, come March, they're not gassed and content with an early exit from. I mean, we got to get to the tournament first, but back to my optimism.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that aspect of it. Bennett Stirtz, he was talking about his childhood dream. He wanted to be a farmer. He is truly an Iowan, even though he's from Missouri. He's one of us. I just wanted to touch on the fact that Bennett Stirtz wants to be a farmer. He looks like he probably is he should be a farmer, but here he is playing basketball at the Big Ten level.
This seems like the ultimate opportunity for John Deere or somebody to do a marketing campaign. So
NIL goes crazy. And could you imagine that of just like a commercial pops up for John Deere and it's just Bennett Stirtz hooping. He's got like a John Deere jersey on and everything. John Deere pays him like $2 million to be in an ad.
In 2025, I could absolutely imagine that. It would not shock me in the slightest. I'd love to see it, but in this day and age, it's all with NIL money, it's all free game.
Last thing I'll bring up is they both expect this team to play faster than they did at Drake. And honestly, Coach McCollum has always wanted to play faster. It's just, does he have the team to play fast? And they think that they do this year. So I'm pretty excited with that.
Yeah, I think that was, if there's one thing that he could have been critiqued, Coach McCollum could have been critiqued for in the past, it was, maybe slowing down the pace of play a little too much. I don't have a problem with that as much as some other people do, but yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to see have a little bit more of a athletic roster than he's been accustomed to. And so, yeah, that's only going to help him.
Yeah, and again, fast-paced basketball is like maybe like a couple sprinkles on the top of a cupcake of just like, hey, kind of nice. It'd be aesthetically pleasing. Doesn't really matter at all, but just in the eyes of a viewer, if you play fast, that's just a little bit more of an exciting brand of basketball. And as long as you get stops, I really don't care.
I think it is important though to have the capability to play fast if you're down. I mean, just the nature of basketball is you're going to get in these circumstances where you're behind and you want to turn those back into dubs. So just having the capability, that's a good thing, especially come tournament time. Again, hopefully we can get there. I think we will. Anything goes, and so just being able to kind of run the ball and get that pace going however you want the pace to be that's a good thing to utilize.
Absolutely. I do remember the one quote from Coach McCollum where he's talking about defense, and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna play a lot of man to man, and these guys are gonna know the principles of defense, and we're gonna be a good defensive team. That's never going to change." And he does not want to press, which Coach McCaffrey, if he did one good thing defensively, it was he had a good press, he had a good trap. But McCollum really doesn't want to get into pressing and trapping because that means we're down. And so if we can stay away from that, I think he said he'd love it. And obviously that does push a pace. So maybe if we are playing slower, maybe if depending on the roster, that is something that we wouldn't mind. If we're up on, let me think of a good team coming up this year. If we're up on Illinois by like 8 with 3 minutes left and we play a slow pace, I think you feel a little bit more comfortable in that game.
True. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, again, the implication is, if you're pressing, if you're trapping, things probably aren't going.
So you could say if we're watching Illinois, Iowa here in a couple months, and you see a press start out by Coach McCollum, and you go, "Oh shoot, that kind of stinks," because of the implication.
Yes, as the famous meme would suggest.
Yeah, well, it's 9:50 over here in Central Time, and if I don't get to bed soon, I think some not great things will happen because you'll have
to run a press.
That's true. I do wake up at like 4:30, so the sooner the better to get to bed for me to go do my workout in the morning.
You just have to run a press. Old people pickleball.
That's the reason I wake up early is to beat them there. I have to wake up earlier than old people.
You beat them?
Well, if they keep on stealing my court, we'll see.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Your Honor, look at this tape. He confesses to it all.
If you're a person who lives in my area and you're like an avid pickleballer to the fact that you're not even showing any sort of decency towards people who want to play a little basketball, I'm not saying you deserve to be punched, but I'm saying you probably have it coming.
All right, and then also hop onto our website where we're selling pickleball merch. Aaron, I do one suggestion before we close this thing out.
Yeah, go for it.
And I could ask this off air, but let's just let the people see how the sausage is made. Maybe we need to get some sort of email address going where people could send in their questions. Listeners could send in their questions, and we could answer their questions on air.
If you are watching this, you're probably either listening through Spotify or YouTube or maybe a different podcasting outlet. Just leave a comment. I'll make sure to read the comments, and
I guess comments do exist.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Aaron will watch our comments. He's on top of this. Me,
yeah,
I'm not. He's better. Bless his heart.
I also I'm signed into the I get notifications, so it's not like I'm actively searching these things out.
Just comment, people. We'll answer your questions. We'll give you life wisdom. Is your marriage falling apart? Comment. We'll help you out.
Yeah, if you have a question about Iowa men's basketball, Iowa women's basketball, Iowa football, the Iowa Hawkeyes in general, politics, religion, Jesus is king. That's really my answer to most things. So
Correct.
That's very
I
much
don't
all
know if
got
we'll
to
get
you
into
guys.
the politics. I think we both have our opinions. I don't know if this is the outlet for that. I will say every outlet is a good outlet to confess that Christ is king. So I will not shy away from that. But the politics, I can wrap those up a little more.
Yeah, I have my views on political things. They don't matter as much as the fact that Christ is king. So if we disagree on politics, it is what it is. We disagree on religion, still is what it is. But my ultimate goal, my ultimate prayer is that you come to Christ.
Amen. Absolutely.
So with that, we'll close it out, and we're gonna both head to bed. I'm assuming Jesse's heading to bed here right after we log off. So
My sleep habits are me to going to sleep at a decent time is like Fran to playing defense. It doesn't
only when you're
happen.
down big.
It's hard to watch. It doesn't happen as much as it should. And it has consequences. Usually
That's-
with me being tired.
That makes sense. Unless you're down big, then you'll go to bed. By
That's
down
true.
big, is that just you looking at the clock and it's midnight? Like, oh shoot, I'm down big. I better go to bed.
Yeah, sometimes the realization takes a little longer than that even. It's bad sleep habits. We're gonna figure this thing out. I gotta get this straightened out before our basketball league. I think that's contributing to my tiredness more than being out of shape.
Yeah, well, with that, I need to grab some extra numbers and text one of our members or the schedule. And I took work off, so next week I'll have the meeting, and I will ask that we do not play on Christmas.
We will probably have to forfeit that game if.
Well, that's the
if,
thing. The other team probably will too.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's. That's crazy that they thought people were going to go there on Christmas Day to play basketball.
It'd be great if it was the NBA, but we're a level below the NBA.
Yeah, if I was making $1 million doing this, then sure, I'll play on Christmas. But I am not. I mean, we're
Yes.
actually paying to be in here, so
Again, if we were like kids, it would be a lot more exciting. Of like, oh my gosh, I watch my favorite team play on Christmas every year, and now I get to do it. That's awesome. But when you're older, like, my wife, my kid, our families, we have things. Can't really
I'm going to neglect my family to play basketball.
bring the family with. I say we have the family Christmas at that gym. On that note, it already seems I'm getting too tired, and my mouth is uttering things it shouldn't. So
What's your mouth doing?
it's been doing some crazy things, man. It's been sins of the mouth are not great.
Yes, amen.
So with that note, we're tired enough. Let's hit the hay right after pressing stop from this record. You guys have been watching Bench Mob Carver. Thank you for joining us. And you know what? God bless and go Hawks.